I'm assuming he gives you wide berth with his scripts?
Yeah, that's the good thing about being older than all these guys. Oh, well, you're an experienced artist. Experienced means age in my business.
So right now you just wrapped up work on the summer prelude to Dark Night Metal, Dark Days for DC. What can you tell us about the story and working on that once again with your buddy Scott Snyder?
Oh, well, it's always a pleasure working with Scott. But the interesting part of this is how it's all connected with all the four artists, and it's a lead into that metal project with he and Greg Capullo. I honestly wasn't paying enough attention to the overall story because I was looking at Jim Lee's art and Andy Kubert's art and Greg's work, trying to coordinate it so it all makes sense because they were each individual vignette for each artist. And it's hard to pay attention to the overall story, but it's all a lead into the metal. And I was honestly just looking at the other artists. I'm a fan of all of their work. So I feel stupid for not knowing the details of the story, but loving, I kept copies of their work. And Andy and Jim, just unconsciously good artists. And Greg, I'm a big fan of Greg Capullo. So that is going to be one outstanding project.
The project, to me, it's like an all-star rock supergroup, you know, this jam session of these comic art, you know, greats. But sometimes those rock supergroups didn't pan out. But this one, based off the first issue, looked so good. What's the secret sauce there to make the art styles mesh and to make for a cohesive story? Because you guys are all so different.
I don't honestly think that there was an attempt to make it cohesive as much as have each vignette with the artist look as good as it could and then somehow make it work as story-wise. The four of us were not trying to connect our styles in any way to make it an easy transition. I'm happy with the way it turned out, but I don't think there was an attempt to connect it in any way visually. I think it was a variety is the spice of life, so to speak. So I honestly don't think it was an attempt. It worked out beautifully and it looks great because the artists, those guys just knocked it out of the park. I can't wait to see what Greg does with the rest of the project.
You've had some really strong relationships with writers over the years. Mark Miller, Frank Miller, and now Scott Snyder. You guys just wrapped up All-Star Batman. What's the difference working with him on this book as opposed to All-Star?
I think we had more attention to each other because it was a series. It was a 5-issue series. The fifth one was longer, so it could have been 6. But we were in contact with each other constantly. This was a little bit less, was a little bit more removed because he would just give me the script for those pages. Working with Scott is easy because you know you don't have to worry. When you have a writer that good, Frank, Mark, Neil Gaiman, when you work with guys like that, you have a comfort level knowing you don't have to second guess yourself. In other words, if they give you a plot or a script, what you're working on is viable. However, I still have the tendency to be a storyteller, taking what they give me and playing with it, but you still never worry. It's the same thing with Scott. So Scott is up there with the greats. There's a comfort zone knowing you have this brilliant writer starting the project off with you.
And I'm assuming he gives you wide berth with his scripts?
Yeah, that's the good thing about being older than all these guys. Oh, well, you're an experienced artist. Experienced means age in my business. The good thing is that I have enough experience as a storyteller where they give me a script / plot and they say, run with it. And if there's anything that you are changing editorially, which I don't do, but if there's anything I alter, I let them know what I'm going to do, what I have plans for, and run with it. The best compliment I ever got was at Neil Gaiman when he said, I know what you can do. Let me know what you're going to do, and then I'm sure it's going to be fine. Just play with it. But he had given me a script and let me go with it, which is on the Eternals, and that's a nice compliment.